Tonight, Mayor's breakfast backlash for the Prime Minister as he discloses more info on changes coming to the return to office policy. Shoplifting accusation gone wrong, how one man's experience led to Farm Boy's head office fielding criticism from the public. Plus, the OPP says it has reason to formally investigate the Ford government's Skills Development Fund as the opposition alleges wrongdoing. Good evening. New back to the office. Details served up by the Prime Minister at this morning's Mayor's breakfast isn't sitting well with many tonight. Unions representing federal public servants say workers already have enough on their plates as they worry about layoffs, and now they're questioning the future of hybrid work. CTV's Austin Lee has more.
There will likely be different levels of return depending on seniority, depending on role, and obviously depending on capacity.
At the Mayor's breakfast Monday morning, Prime Minister Mark Carney suggesting federal public servants may soon have to spend more time in the office, coming as a surprise to union leaders.
I'm just shocked that that is where he chose to announce it versus actually telling his employees or even contacting the unions.
Last week, La Presse quoted an internal document from the Treasury Board Secretariat indicating the government is considering a full-time return to the office starting in January. Since then, unions say they have been trying to get clarification from the government to no avail.
There's no conversation. In fact, I have been inquiring since we had a leak. We found a slide, and we've been asking the question, what is this? And I've heard nothing back.
Some workers say there are already issues with office space.
Right now, it's kind of a little bit of, musical chairs. You're not really sure where you're going to be every single week.
It's hard to come back here and feel like this is my work spot. It's just, everything just keeps changing.
Ottawa's mayor says the city is preparing for workers to possibly spend more time downtown.
We're building more public transit. We're increasing the frequency of public transit. And we're about to open the East End extension of LRT.
The Prime Minister says to expect clarification in the weeks ahead.
We will be engaging with the public sector unions on the modalities of that, on the appropriate levels of that. We will come to a sharper view on it over the course of the next several weeks.
But in the meantime, workers are left to wonder what comes next.
We feel like we're not actually being communicated that information, even though we all know it's the likelihood.
Austin Lee, CTV News.
We'll keep bringing you updates as we learn them. Just keep checking our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca. Ottawa's in the midst of a cold snap, and officials say it comes with the risk of frostbite. Ottawa Public Health warns the most vulnerable include those who are experiencing homelessness, older adults, babies, and those who spend a lot of time outdoors.
Main things is to keep your extremities covered, right? Exposed skin is more at risk. Layers are important to create that warmth, wind barriers, etc., hats, gloves.
And if you see anyone sleeping outdoors during the cold weather, you are encouraged to call 311. Jackie is here to tell us what else to expect from this frigid forecast. Jackie.
Well, it was a chilly day in the capital. Even though we had a mild weekend, it was return of the deep freeze. And hang on tight, we are going to start off very chilly tomorrow, feeling more like -20 when we start the day. The good news is we are getting to a daytime high about -5, so much warmer than what we have seen for today. Here's the thing, though. We are anticipating some snow moving through into the overnight hours and more so on Wednesday. We'll have these details and more in just a bit. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. An Ottawa man has been giving Farm Boy the cold shoulder lately, saying he was humiliated after being accused of shoplifting. Shadi Zachary believes a bulge from a hernia drew attention, but wonders if other factors were at play. CTV's Katie Griffin has more details.
Good boy. Shadi Zachary is still shaken up after he was accused of shoplifting.
It left me broken. Like I couldn't drive after work. Like I had to sit in the car for quite a while. And I'm not too proud to admit that I was in tears.
Zachary has type 1 diabetes and says he went into the Farm Boy at Train Yards last month to get food before driving home from work because his blood sugar was getting low. He says he paid for a sandwich and was stopped by 2 employees when he went to leave.
And then it progressed into, sir, what do you have under your jacket that you didn't pay for? And I said, nothing.
After repeated attempts to convince them he didn't steal anything, Zachary says he felt he couldn't leave.
I'm like, I didn't steal anything, guys. Like, and I ended up opening up my jacket and literally exposing my massive hernia that I had.
Zachary has had 6 major surgeries in the past few years and at the time had a large hernia that's since been removed.
I think it was a combination of they saw the bulge, so they assumed there was something there. Saw the bulge, saw my skin color, saw the way I was dressed.
Zachary says when he first reached out to Farm Boy, he was offered a $300 gift card to the store. He says that's not good enough and wants to see a formal apology in writing and more training for staff. In a statement, Farm Boy says it's working to address the unfortunate situation with Zachary directly, and that while staff did not request he lift his shirt, his experience did not live up to Farm Boy's standards, and we have reinforced the proper protocols with our store team.
I want to work with Farm Boy and whatever they choose to have a look at their programs, to have a look at what they're doing. I don't want any other individual to feel the way I feel.
Katie Griffin, CTV News.
The Ottawa Sports and Entertainment Group is investigating a carbon monoxide leak at TD Place. The emergency repairs at the arena forced the Ottawa Charge to cancel today's practice. Crews are still working on finding the source of the leak. No related illnesses have been reported. Meanwhile, when it comes to a new arena at LeBreton Flats, the Sens are about to start lobbying the upper levels of government for support. We've learned that a company is being hired to do that work, and as first reported by the Ottawa Citizen, formal registration as a lobbyist is happening. This comes after the Sens and the National Capital Commission reached an agreement in August for the club to purchase around 11 acres of land at LeBreton Flats to build a new downtown arena. At the time, neither side provided a cost for the land. The Sens had previously indicated building a new arena could cost up to $1.5 billion. But both Sens owner Michael Anlauer and Ottawa Mayor Mark Sutcliffe have said they don't think the project should cost Ottawa taxpayers money. Lobby registration with the provincial and federal governments suggests that could change. In a statement, the Senators confirmed to CTV News, quote, Strategy Corp has been retained by the developer to communicate with government to keep them informed about the transformative residential, commercial, and entertainment destination project. In the meantime, the city and the feds are teaming up to build about 3,000 homes in Ottawa. As CTV's Leah LaRocque reports, hundreds of millions of dollars will go towards fast-tracking construction.
Denise Grolot hasn't been able to afford to buy a home her whole life.
Never. Why? Never could afford it. Impossible. Too damn high.
And she isn't alone. Some leaving the city.
In Ottawa, it's a lot. That's why I bought a house outside of Ottawa. My commute's like 45 minutes.
The Prime Minister and the Mayor of Ottawa teaming up to change that. Signing an agreement to speed up housing construction. The deal is a $400 million investment to build up to 3,000 affordable homes on both federal and municipal land.
The city will reduce or waive development charges, permit fees, and property taxes on priority projects for 2,000 new units. And Build Canada Homes will deploy financing to help unlock an additional 1,000 in the city's portfolio.
Shovels expected to be in the ground next year.
It isn't exactly clear where these affordable homes will be built in the city, but Mayor Sutcliffe says a report will be going to City Council in the new year and will have more details.
We also don't know how much the city will be investing.
If you think about all the federal land that we have in our city, there's a huge opportunity to take that land and instead of it sitting empty, to turn it into affordable housing. So it's not a cost, it's an investment.
Housing advocates say that this is a good step, but both governments need to follow through on promises already made.
HST reductions, right? Cutting DCs for all projects, payment in lieu of property taxes, right? All of these elements are affecting Ottawa's ability to build.
There is skepticism that this new deal is enough, including from parents who are concerned this won't change anything, and future generations will still struggle to afford a home.
And we just built a kitchen in the basement and laundry for them to have a space when they're in their 20s, because they're not going to be able to afford a house.
Leah LaRocque, CTV News.
Turning to developing news tonight involving the province's Skills Development Fund, the OPP is announcing they will be launching an investigation into a company connected to the controversial program. CTV's Siobhan Morris explains.
The company is CHEO Digital Solutions. That's the company whose director was seen ringside with David Piccini before he was the Minister of Labour. Remember, Piccini also traveled to that director's Paris wedding. The roots of this investigation go back a few years and involves funding from the Ministry of Colleges and Universities. A subsidiary of CHEO called Get Ahead has received almost $33 million from that ministry for student mental health. The government says there was a routine audit in 2023 that flagged irregularities that prompted a forensic audit. We don't know what that audit found, but it was concerning enough for the government to pass it on to the OPP when they got the results just recently. CHEO insists it's being scapegoated for the Skills Development Fund scandal, writing, CHEO remains steadfast in its assertion that it has complied with all laws and contract obligations. We welcome the OPP and will be completely transparent and cooperative. We look forward to the government's apology at the end of this, and we remain focused on facilitating mental health supports for the province's most vulnerable communities. The OPP investigation has amplified questions about why the government gave money to CHEO while it was already being flagged by a different part of the government. Minister Piccini has admitted to elevating CHEO's low-scoring applications for cash for first responders' mental health supports. Today, the opposition renewed calls for him to be fired or resign.
We find out that this company was flagged by another ministry. It just defies belief that they wouldn't have known that there were red flags around this application.
If you don't trust somebody you're doing business with, why would you do more business with them? Why would you send them more money? They won't there's no answer.
I asked the Premier's office if the Premier continues to have confidence in his Minister of Labour. They answered yes. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Coming up, singing sensation, how players teamed up to bring joy to children at CHEO today.
The magic of the holidays is here, and this year the need is greater than ever.
Let's ensure every child in our community feels the joy with CTV and Move 100's Toy Mountain.
Together with the Salvation Army, we can help spread cheer and make a child's wish come true.
Drop off any new unwrapped toy to the designated drop-off locations or make a monetary donation online.
For all the details, visit toymountain.ca, presented by Donnelly Automotive Group.
Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It's minus 20 out there right now, and watch out for the winds. Now for a closer look at the forecast, here's Jackie.
Well, you may have noticed as the evening carried on into these late hours that it is starting to get a lot chillier. The overnight low is about minus 18, feeling more like minus 25. However, the conditions outside pretty clear, a couple of clouds. It isn't until tomorrow early afternoon into the late evening that we could see some snow moving through. A daytime high about minus 5, so you're in for some mainly clear skies for most of our Tuesday. Here's a look at the lows throughout eastern Ontario, about minus 21 in Pembroke, 19 in Brockville, minus 17 in Kingston. As we look towards our friends in Mont-Tremblant, sitting around minus 24. As for our daytime highs, the good news is it is going to be a little bit more comfortable, closer to the freezing mark and closer to seasonal for this time of year. So about minus 5 really for most of eastern Ontario. I'm liking where Kingston is about minus 1. But keep in mind, with those warmer conditions, instead of the snow, you could be seeing a little bit of that freezing rain and rain. So this gives you a more broader look at what we could look like for conditions. So Tuesday evening is when we could start to see more flurries moving through the valley, a little bit more heavier down by Kingston and Smiths Falls. And then Wednesday around the noon hour here in Ottawa, that dark purple, that's when we'll likely see heavier snowfall moving in, maybe between 2 to 4 centimeters. But then Wednesday evening, that's when we'll likely see more rainfall, perhaps even some freezing rain moving into Cornwall. So you want to bring that umbrella and watch out for the slick roads as we are around the 401 and along the Seaway. Now, the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Presser Law Firm. You don't pay unless we win. Call 1-800-JUSTICE. So really, that freezing rain and that wintry mix will likely be for our Wednesday. Tuesday, the chance of flurries not likely happening until the late evening. And then Thursday, we will see the flurries perhaps linger, -7 the daytime high. It isn't until Friday that we will see a mix of sun and cloud.
The hockey skills of the Ottawa Senators may surpass their singing skills, but as CTV's Dylan Dyson reports, they show great heart doing both.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
The Ottawa Senators brought some Christmas cheer to CHEO Monday, the team making their annual trip to the Children's Hospital. For Sens superfan Parker McDonald, it's a welcome change from the routine hospital visits.
It's been about 4 years of him battling with cancer on and off, but today we were lucky we're here for just a normal visit and got a pretty great surprise because these are Parker's heroes right here.
Been a very big hockey fan for a long time.
The Sens taking time to visit room to room at CHEO, meeting some of its young patients.
When you go into a room and you can see they're a little bit hesitant, but then when you leave and they have a smile on their faces, you know that you've accomplished your mission. And that's all there is to it.
The Sens also making new fans and learning new dances.
It was great. I had lots of fun today. They make it a way better experience instead of just staying in a hospital bed all day.
Since we've been at CHEO, we've got a few tickets, a suite, so she's become a huge Sens fan, like the rest of the family too.
The kids at CHEO reaching the players in ways hockey can't.
When you see their smile and you're having the conversations that you've had and you get to learn about what their favorite toy is, their favorite color or whatever it might be, it's just, it fills your heart and like your soul in such a unmatchable way.
Dylan Dyson, CTV News.
My advice to anyone would be to read those provisions carefully.
Coming up, reasons to not be a Grinch when it comes to car rental insurance. Stay with us for what you need to know about getting extra coverage. Many people will be traveling over the holidays, and if you're renting a car, you need to make sure you have the proper insurance because there may be limitations that come as a surprise. CTV's Pat Foran explains.
Ellen Economopoulos of Toronto took a road trip in Alberta with her children this past summer. She rented a vehicle, but unfortunately the windshield cracked after being hit by a piece of gravel.
On the way back to Calgary, I noticed that there was a big loud sound in my windshield.
Economopoulos had car rental coverage through her credit card, but when she submitted a claim, it was denied because she was told the vehicle she rented was too expensive.
I didn't know about that, and I was a little bit shocked because I said, well, at least I'm lucky that it was only a windshield.
The insurance company, Global XL, said vehicles not covered are any vehicle with a manufacturer's suggested retail price, excluding all taxes, over $65,000 Canadian. The vehicle rented was a Dodge Durango RT 2025 with an MSRP of $73,695. As such, we are unable to cover any expenses in relation to your claim.
Are we supposed to ask how much the car is worth? I don't know. Whose job is it to tell us that?
My advice to anyone would be to read those provisions carefully.
The Insurance Bureau of Canada says whether it's a credit card or your own auto insurance policy, there may be limits on the type and value of vehicles you're allowed to rent. You really need to check the policy.
It may say $50,000, it may say $60,000. Each insurance company may have a different limit.
You can contact your insurance company to see if you can purchase additional coverage that will cover more expensive rental vehicles.
If you drive a Honda Civic and you pay a premium for a Honda Civic, it makes no sense to go and rent a Lamborghini with Honda Civic insurance.
Economopoulos had to pay $600 for the windshield repair, but is relieved that was the only damage done.
I rented so many cars and I didn't know that. And that's actually kind of dangerous because I could be liable for so much more.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
In more consumer news, some snowbirds may be having their wings clipped by a labor dispute. Pilots at Air Transat could be walking off the job. Their union issued a 72-hour strike notice today. Air Transat is Canada's fourth largest airline and specializes in travel to sunny destinations like Mexico and the Caribbean, as well as lots of places in Europe. Flights for today still operated as planned, but there's still no word on tomorrow. It comes after 99% of pilots voted in favor of a strike last week. It could happen as early as Wednesday. Also, the City of Ottawa and the Ontario government are partnering with Habitat for Humanity to build affordable housing in Nepean. The plan is to build 33 modular homes at 40 Beechcliff Street near the intersection of Woodruff and Knoxdale. The local and provincial governments are investing $10 million in this project. The province says the homes will have 3 to 4 bedrooms and will require no down payment. Also, mortgage payments will be geared to household income. Construction is set to begin soon, and families could start moving in as early as 2027.
Disappointed. And you're always fake, and you're vain and selfish.
Coming up, Canadians that could end up with a Golden Globe, details of the nominations, and the names that some say got snubbed.
'Tis the season to lend a helping hand, Ottawa.
Join us for the CTV Your Morning Ottawa Food Drive on Friday, December 12th. We're teaming up with the Ottawa Food Bank to help our neighbors this holiday season.
Drop off your non-perishable food items at 87 George Street or make a monetary donation, allowing the Ottawa Food Bank to buy what's needed most when it's needed.
CTV Your Morning Ottawa Food Drive, December 12th, proudly sponsored by Doyle Saluski.
The Bell Media building is lit bigger and brighter this year thanks to our friends at Christmas Decor from Nutrilon. Several Canadian names announced this morning as nominees for the 83rd Annual Golden Globes. CTV's Andrea Case has more on who is in the running for some of the most prestigious prizes, and who is left out.
I need to find my daughter. Well, then call us back when you have the time.
They call it Golden Globe morning, and for some, it was a good morning. Leonardo DiCaprio's latest, One Battle After Another, continues to win critics over, if not the box office. In close second, Ryan Coogler's Sinners picked up 7 nominations, including 2 for Coogler himself and 1 for actor Michael B. Jordan. He should have received 2. After all, he plays twins. Film critic Richard Krause says there is one big snub in the film category, the musical Wicked for Good. It received 5 nominations, including 2 for its lead actresses, and it also received a nod in the relatively new category, Cinematic and Box Office Achievement.
If you look further along down in the list, there's no John Chu for director. There are a lot of stuff, so there's no joy in the Wicked household, I don't think, this morning.
The Globes are voted on by a group of close to 400 members of international film critics known as the Hollywood Foreign Press. This year, unlike in the past, a number of foreign language films made the cut. The global phenomenon K-pop Demon Hunters snagged 3 nominations, including, no surprise here, Best Song from a Motion Picture, Golden. In the television category, The White Lotus, The Pit, and the British teen crime drama Adolescence received multiple nominations. And with approximately 115 million people tuning into a podcast each week, the Globes have added, for the first time, a new category, Best Podcast.
Where's Joe Rogan? You know, if you're thinking about podcasts that have sort of defined what podcasts are, Joe Rogan, where's Mark Maron? He just recently wrapped up his podcast after 16 years, and he is considered to be kind of the godfather, the grandfather of the podcast genre.
Comedian Nikki Glaser will roast or make that host the 83rd Annual Golden Globes, launching award season into full swing on January 11th. Andrea Case, CTV News.
When we return, starting to light up the capital for Christmas, Lights Across Canada gets underway. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Current temperature -20. And now for a final check on the weather, here's Jackie.
Well, bundle up for your morning because it's just going to be as chilly from today as it will be for tomorrow. -16 to start things off, feeling more like -20. Well, we still may see a little bit more sunshine. We are likely going to get flurries or more snowfall into Tuesday evening, into our Wednesday, where, yes, we will likely see more snow. But if you are along the Seaway, you may even see a little bit more rain than the snowfall. Daytime high for our Thursday, about -7. It's going to average that for really most of the week, but then we might be in for another deep chill as early as next Monday.
Thank you, Jackie. Finally, for us tonight, the magic of Christmas is starting to shine a little brighter in the capital. It's a time of year when things start to sparkle and twinkle in downtown Ottawa. This is what it looks like now around the Cenotaph. Winter Lights Across Canada's claim to fame is the installation of some 300,000 lights installed in our region. It highlights certain venues and monuments, lighting the way for visitors to explore some of the key landmarks. That is CTV News for this Monday, December 8th. CTV News continues online anytime with our digital team keeping you up to date at ctvnewsottawa.ca. You can also watch our newscasts live on the CTV News app, and for news on the go, listen to News Talk Radio 580 CFRA. For all of us here at CTV News, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night. Stay safe.